Thursday morning is John Duggan column time. What are you penning this week? I hear there's some very accurate predictions in there.
Well, it's a sporting crystal ball. I watched your chat with interest over Christmas, yourself, Ger, Nathan and Adrian. And for my first column of the year, which I would publish every Thursday on OTBSports.com and on the OTB app, I've gone for some predictions, so I can reveal some of them now if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Kerry, going to win the Football All-Ireland, Don?
Yes, they are. Correct prediction. So we're 1 from 1. That's absolutely 100% going to happen.
Kerry people are sickened. They are so sickened by Dublin's dominance over the last few years. This is the aristocrats of the game, Kerry, more All-Ireland football titles than anybody else, but absolutely sickened by the 6th in a row. But Dublin are going to be beaten at some stage, and if there's one team that is equipped to beat them, I think it's Kerry, because natural talent means something, and Kerry have the natural talent. I think at 9-2, 4-1, I think Kerry... like, you could look at this two ways. You could say, okay, a team will beat Limerick and Dublin will win, or a team will beat Dublin and Limerick will win. And I think Limerick will win the hurling, but I think Kerry will win the football.
I don't know. I think you might be pandering to poor Owen here, trying to ease him gently. And while the rest of the world is aflame, you want to give the young man some confidence that it's okay. Come on out. Don't hibernate the entire winter. Come on. Just be a part of this. Because I can't see any logical reason why Kerry are going to improve from a team that choked against, it turned out, not a great Cork side, a relatively mediocre Cork side this year. What's going to be different next year?
I think with Kerry, a lot for me when I think about Kerry's natural talent, and yes, they did not play well against Cork, but I'm thinking back to that 29 final, and now I know Johnny Cooper was sent off, but they really put it up to Dublin that day. And I do think that Kerry, of all the counties, have the natural talent. I can't see Mayo doing it. I can't see any of the northern counties doing it. And I just think that Kerry flagged in the last 10 to 15 minutes of that drawn final. But I do think that was a display that, and even in the first half of the replay, that Kerry were completely putting it up to Dublin. And just based on natural talent. And maybe that's an antiquated view. And maybe like when you look at the Cork hurlers, it's a view that's all going out of vogue. But I just think Kerry are, like with Clifford and that, they won the league. Now, these are all small things to say statistically, that they won 5 minors and they won the league. But I do think that Kerry at Croke Park against the Dubs can do it.
I think that 2019 final, we have to, revise everything about it when you consider the pressure that the Dublin team put themselves under to be the first team in history that did 5 in a row. And it feels a little bit now, the new manager comes in, the shackles are off. They're trending back towards the swashbuckling side of the early noughties a bit more. And I actually feel like the gap between them and everybody else for the next couple of seasons is going to get bigger. I think
hold on. Sorry to interrupt you there, but just fair enough. You can make all the positive points about Dublin, and you're probably right. The likelihood is that they will kill everybody again this year, but you can't come at the argument from a pressure standpoint around 2019. Like, is that actually a better, more pressurised situation than these Kerry players going into their first ever All-Ireland final, into the blue sea of noise behind the hill? If you're Sean O'Shea kicking into that hill, is that really more pressure? You've won 4 All-Irelands in a row. You know exactly how to get over this.
Well, you don't. No one's ever done it. The great Kilkenny team fell apart in an All-Ireland final. They played Henry Shefflin on one knee because of the pressure of 5 in a row. It's like the single most iconic thing in Irish sport. There is nothing more important in Irish sporting history than a 5 in a row. Kerry themselves had not been able to do it with the greatest team of all time against an Offaly side who were good but not great. And all of a sudden, that weight is so heavy, and you could see it in the way that Duggan approached that game. And look, I think it's far more that it was a shot to nothing for that Kerry team. Nobody expected them to perform.
I would be of the view that Kerry were under pressure because Kerry hated it. Kerry hate this. They hate the fact that Dublin won that 5 in a row because they've taken Kerry's mantle as the aristocrats of the game. So Kerry had to throw everything at that game because they knew that history would now change, and it has changed.
Yeah, but look, I think that, my point is that Dublin are getting better from that point, and I don't see Kerry progressing at the same rate.
Look, you're probably right, but I just think on 2019, if there was one team who had pressure on them and who succumbed to pressure more than the opposition that day, it was definitely Kerry. I think that the Dublin team, it was like water off the duck's back. And I think when it comes to psychology, this Dublin team is the greatest sports team that potentially has ever existed in Ireland, and like that is one thing you can never question with them. The pressure never gets to them, and I just never agree with those arguments that the Dubs are ever under any pressure. They're just
That's
amazing.
not true. They've frequently underperformed in all Ireland finals. They needed 2 own goals to get a draw against Mayo, but that wasn't their best performance.
And then they got subsequently better at it, and they've got better at it since then.
The pressure gets to them, and absolutely got to them. I think that that's the one chink in their armour, and they've had to work unbelievably hard at it. I think,
and they've got better at it, and I think that nobody can come anywhere close to them when it comes to dealing with that and the mental side of the game. That's the big challenge for everyone. For anybody who thinks that they're within an arse's roar of Dublin is actually getting the mental bit right. John, what else is in the piece? Any other quick fire predictions?
Well, the one thing I'm trying to do is anticipate things that I think were going to happen in the future before they happen. That's a lot of the time what I'm trying to do. So Kerry's one of those. I do think Limerick will win again. I think they'll win the hurling again. I'm so impressed with them in the final. They saved the best for last. Hurling is probably more open and competitive with the counties, but I do think Limerick are a team that don't lack hunger. They've got the discipline. John Kiley's a really good leader, and I think they're gonna go and do it again. I've gone for England to win the Six Nations. I think that's generally quite a widely held view. I talked about Rory yesterday. I think John Ram will win a major this year. I think Manchester City will win the Champions League. They're about 4-1. I think Diaz has been a massive addition. I think Aguero might have a final flourish in him. He's coming back to fitness. And Guardiola seems to have them beginning to motor and get a good blend between defence and attack. And with a lot of European elite clubs out of sync and out of form, I think City, with Borussia Mönchengladbach to negotiate, probably into the last 8 already, I think this is might be the season for them to do it. There's a horse called Burrows Saint. If he turns up in the Aintree Grand National, Willie Mullins trained horse, won the Irish Grand National in 2019. I think he's got a really big chance if he turns up. He's 20-1 Burrows Saint. And I think Ireland at the Olympics will win at least 3 medals. If the Olympics does happen, it'd be great to see it happening for hopefully health reasons, with the society the pandemic being under control, not financial reasons. But you got McClenaghan, you got Sunita Pusper, Rory and Shane, Kelly Harrington if she qualifies. A lot of chances there, even like in taekwondo, equestrian and rowing as well. So I think at least 3 medals. But Kerry and Limerick, anything else I've gone for? John Ram, to win a major. John Ram, to me, is the second coming in golf.
John Duggan, great stuff. Thanks
again. All right, guys.
Check out that piece on otbsports.com and make sure to download the OTB Sports app right now.